Good morning, Bapak Dahya, Kak Alda, and everyone who is watching. We are from group number 9, and today we're going to present our group assignment, which is about business process transformation analysis in Toyota production system. Okay, so the executive summary. In 2009, Toyota faced a massive recall crisis due to unintended acceleration issues. So millions of vehicles were affected globally, and it impacted brand trust, customer safety perception, and financial stability. And then changes are made due to existing supply chain and production processes that were slow, dependent on forecast, quality control that was reactive, causing defects and inefficiency, and then the decision making was centralized, which delays corrective actions. So they propose a solution, which is supply chain redesign, quality control overhaul, and corporate culture shift. And then the key outcomes is operational efficiency, financial recovery, and customer trust. So this is the flow of the analysis. And then for the company overview, Toyota is a global manufacturer and they produce and sell vehicles on a large international scale. So when a company is very large, small problems can create very big cost. So they need a strong production system to keep the operation efficient. So Toyota operates in many international markets. So the company faces complex operational challenges. So they need to manage the production, supply chains, customer demand, and quality standards across different countries. So it is widely recognized that Toyota is good for their operational excellence, and they have a strong reputation in lean manufacturing because of their Toyota production system, which helps Toyota reduce waste, avoid unnecessary inventory, improve quality, and make production more responsive to demand. So why does Toyota needed radical business process reengineering? So before the crisis, Toyota Motor Corporation experienced extremely rapid global growth. So this rapid expansion expanded aggressively into global markets, increased production volume significantly, became one of the world's largest automakers, and it focused heavily on cost efficiency and market share. But the major problem is there is an unintended acceleration problems. There is a faulty accelerator pedals, the floor mat interference, and brake system concerns. So they need to have a centralized decision making, and they have weak regional communication across all branches, and then they have an overstretched supply chain, and quality control is reactive. So they needed BPR because the crisis required structural redesign, process restructuring, and organizational transformation. So the key triggers for Toyota BPR post-recall crisis is inefficient quality control, the slow response of the supplier, operational failures, centralized decision making, poor information flow, and then the lack of standardized rework. So this is for the access analysis. So the Toyota pre-crisis operational model. Before the crisis, Toyota relied heavily on lean manufacturing, just in time, minimal inventory, and supplier synchronization. And then the product planning was based on predicted market demand, regional forecasts, and sales expectation. So as Toyota expanded globally, the supplier network became larger, coordination became harder, and communication became slower. So Toyota supply chain achieved high efficiency, but the rapid globalization increased operational complexity. So driving operational excellence, quality, and financial recovery. So, for the reactive quality control, defects are detected after production, and then the teams acted reactively, not proactively. So, the lead detection makes it the rework more costly, and then having more recalls. So, they also have a slow feedback and rework loops because the rework cycles were long and sequential, and then the lesson learned were really updated into the SOPs, and then repeat defects were common in Toyota. And then they also have a centralized decision bottlenecks, which that the headquarters approval needed for most actions. Delays in decision slowed the production, and then the regional office has limited autonomy. So the impact on the operation is that before BPR, Toyota quality checks were reactive, approvals were centralized, and rework cycles were long, causing repeated mistakes and inefficient operation with higher recall risk. So this is the culture and decision making. First, they have a centralized decision making, and the regional offices often depended on approval from senior executive, centralized reporting system, and hierarchical escalation processes. And then they also have a limited empowerment and accountability. Regional managers and operation teams had limited authority, restricted decision autonomy, and dependence on upper management approval, which slows down the process. And then communication delays. There is also communication delays across teams. Before the digital integration, reporting systems were less connected, data sharing was slower, and coordination depended heavily on hierarchy. So this is the as-is process before they put on the BPR. So quality checks were reactive. The decision making were centralized. The reorg cycles were long and sequential. And then there's a slow feedback loops. Uh, there is inefficient operations, which have higher costs, lower response times, and increased recall risk. And then the customer impact of this is there's a risk of dissatisfaction due to delayed or defective product. So why did the recall crisis happen? It happened because there is an over-centralized decision-making, over-reliance in lean system with low buffer, quality culture focused on efficiency, and insufficient risk management planning.
Next, I'll continue to explain the to-be process of Toyota's business process reengineering. Next. Okay, so the to-be actions of the BPR of Toyota is that they have changes within the supply chain and production, which is to diversify suppliers to reduce dependency and risk, quality control to make it more proactive for the defect detection at earliest stages, culture and decision making to the decentralized authority to regional offices, rework and continuous improvement to make built-in rework processes that don't disrupt production. And lastly, technology and data integration, which is to make digital systems for reporting and monitoring. Next. Okay, so this is the overview of the to-be process with BPMN. So the to-be process includes a more proactive quality checks, and the decision-making process is also less centralized, with regional offices more empowered to make decisions without waiting for the headquarters. They also have shorter rework cycles, faster feedback loops, more efficient operations, which is caused by lead times that are reduced, operational costs decrease, and recall risks that are minimized. Products also reach customers faster with consistent quality, reducing dissatisfaction risks. Next. So this is the effect of the BPR to the supply chain of Toyota. So they implemented a supplier diversification so that they don't heavily rely on one specific supplier. So Toyota works with over 400 tier 1 suppliers, 10,000 tier 2 suppliers, 2,000 for tier 3, and 28,000 for tier 4 plus companies globally. They also implemented flexible production so they can adjust quickly to demand changes, IoT and real-time tracking for sensors and data system monitor inventory, parts, and shipments, and also resilience and recovery. So the supply chain can now recover faster from disruptions and maintain continuous production flow. Next. This is the effect, the BPR of the to-be process that has on the quality and rework. So the defect detection is now more proactive, and it also has zero tolerance safety protocols. Continuous feedback and rework loops are now also cross-functional, implements cross-functional communication. So Toyota redesigned its quality management system from a reactive inspection model into a proactive prevention-oriented governance system. Next. Next, we have its impact to the culture and decision-making of Toyota. So before the BPR process, defects were found late, decisions were slow, and reworks repeated. Hence, they made the proactive quality checks to detect it more faster, decentralized decision making, shorter rework cycles, faster feedback loops, and operational efficiency and customer impact, which are gained from reduced cost, quicker response time, and lower risk of recalls, lead to higher customer satisfaction. Next. Okay, this is the comparison of the as is and to be process of the implemented business process reengineering. So before the BPR, the process time were long, and now it's more faster. Decision making is also decentralized. Quality control is now more proactive. Supplier coordination is now integrated with IoT. Risk management can also now be done real time. And lastly, operational flexibility is now more resilient and adaptive. Next. Okay, we have the BPR impact. First, we have its impact towards the financial performance impact. So it impacted on the revenue growth, cost reduction, and operational recovery of Toyota sales, where the revenue and net profit have steadily increased each year. And operating cost has also decreased from right after the recall happened and the BPR is implemented. Next. Okay, here we have the operational efficiency gains. So, as we can see from the chart, the escalation speed, supplier coordination, operational flexibility, quality monitoring, and communication flow has significantly increased in its performance if you compare it before and after the BPR process is implemented. How did this happen? They managed to increase the score because they have learner manufacturing and faster lead time, shorter development cycle, improved synchronization and feedback loops, and overall operational performance gains. Next. Okay, so there are a few challenges in implementing the BPR system that they did, which which one of them includes technology integration. They integrate IoT devices and ERP systems across multiple plants and suppliers, which requires a seamless data flow. The employee adaptation and training was also a challenge for them because they need to uh, learn new tools to adapt to the new workflow. Supplier alignment and risk mitigation was also another challenge because they have to coordinate with thousands of new suppliers now. And lastly, managing upfront costs and ROI expectations were also a major problem because initial investments were significantly big, but clear metrics and projections helped measure the value of improvements over time. Next. Okay, here are a few recommendations for uh Toyota so that they can successfully transform the operational failure into long-term organizational improvement through BPR. And the recommendation includes maintaining continuous monitoring. So they should continue real-time operational monitoring, predictive risk analysis, supplier performance tracking. They also can strengthen their digital integration by further improve their AI-driven quality analytics, digital supply chain visibility, and integrated operational system. And lastly, they can improve crisis preparedness by developing resilient supply chain structures, flexible manufacturing systems, and faster global response capability. Next. Okay, here are some appendix that we did for the analysis. And that is all for our presentation. Thank you.